Hey guys, it's here bringing you another video. Now welcome back to another Challenger Spectate. Today we are watching, I think, roughly a top 10, 15 Challenger player here on the US. And we are watching him because he's playing Renekton. And this video is kind of focusing in on, is Renekton still worth playing? And that honestly hurts me a little bit to say, because I like Renekton. I've played him for years. I haven't played him recently, and that is because, well, I partially, there is an argument, and well, let's put that on there. There is an argument that it isn't really worth playing Renekton anymore because the game of League of Legends, as every year advances, the player base gets smarter and smarter and smarter, and what generally that means is it makes early game champions less effective. Because all you've got to do against an early game champion is, hey, don't feed them, right? Play a bit more passive. You know you outscale them. Don't risk it, and you'll be okay. If you look at this game, there's a Camille. Camille definitely outscales Renekton in a 1v1. So I've played less Renekton. I think a lot of us top laners have, and we've kind of been going with more of the champions that are known to scale. Now, the one thing with Renekton that has helped is obviously Blade of the Ruined King got buffed not that long ago, and that definitely helped. Conqueror, when he could run Conqueror when it was really strong, obviously Conqueror has also been nerfed, but when Conqueror was at its peak of strength and Blade of the Ruined King, it did help Renekton a lot, but obviously that has been affected. At least the Conqueror has been affected quite a bit. Doesn't do damage really anymore, does healing and stuff. So how is Renekton? So we're going to kind of focusing and reminding people replays are somewhat still bugged, so that's why some of these animations aren't full. It's a bit annoying and they still haven't fixed it, but you know, I guess replays just aren't right. It's priority right now. But you can already see trading is happening. Renekton is just pushing, probably wants to get that level 2 as quick as possible because it gets quite a bit more strength at level 2. But Camille's okay. We said earlier, what's Camille going to do? Hey, I know I outscale you. I'm just going to be patient and wait around. Now, obviously, if I'm doing this video, it will hopefully show, you know, what can Renekton do as a champion to try and get ahead if he has to. And let's be honest, he kind of has to in modern day League of Legends. But we'll see what that is. What's weirding me out a little bit, I will say, he's running obviously PTA, Press the Attack. It's the kind of early game centric rune. Camille's running Grasp the Undying, which obviously is more about sustain and scaling against a Renekton. Just survive the lane is basically what Grasp the Undying should give the Camille. But the Renekton's running Doran's Shield, and the Camille's running Doran's Blade. To me, in my head, shouldn't that be the other way around? Shouldn't Renekton, with running Press the Attack, be running the aggressive Doran's Blade, and Camille being defensive with the Grasp the Undying? Shouldn't she be the one with the shield? I don't know. That's a bit weird to me. But here we go. So Camille obviously going for the first crab. And I potentially think Camille... Yeah, Camille's Mark, which obviously is a big deal with her jungling. At the beginning of the game, one of the Scuttle Crabs will always be Camille's Mark. And the one that was on the side that Camille was... Kindred was... that is the one that she managed to get. So that's good for the Kindred. But meanwhile, top lane, already not going too hot for the Renekton. He's down on XP, losing out on these trades. And it's really because, one, the Kindred's got her tankiness with her passive. Two, Grasp the Undying, and obviously having the Resolve tree in general is going to make her relatively tanky. And because I'd say the Renekton's gone Doran's Shield, his damage isn't all that impressive right now. So maybe this is an argument so far of if he needed to get ahead, arguably he should have gone that Doran's Blade for that early game strength. But we'll continue watching, see how it goes. So again, her W is somewhat bugged that we don't see the full charge up of it. We only see it when it goes off. But yeah, the game itself, by the way, you've got a Lee Sin in one of the team's jungle. Lee Sin somewhat similar to Renekton's problem. That, you know, Lee Sin has seen a lot less play, at least in solo queue. You still see him a bit in pro play. Lee Sin actually got a recent nerf because of pro play. But Lee Sin is kind of like Renekton. You know, he's an early game scaling champion, and you could argue Lee Sin is still useful in mid to late game because of his kick, his utility in that kick. But he has to somewhat get ahead in the early game in most instances. Otherwise, Lee Sin as a champion will struggle. So far, I'd say in top lane, neither top laner has showed any wave control. And now, obviously, some people say, oh, that's rich coming from you, Huz. You don't do that. And no, I don't. I actively don't really do freezing and stuff like that because I find it personally incredibly boring. And as I've always said, if I'm going to find something boring, why am I doing it? So freezing wave does help. And especially at Challenger level, I would expect people to be freezing out waves. But clearly, neither of them are doing that. And I think there has been... Both of them have had instances that they could have frozen if they wanted to. But they're just simply not. So Renekton opting for a Vamp Scepter. Camille opting for a Sheen. And Sheen is where you might start to see this Camille being a lot more aggressive. That she's survived the early game. She's completely even with Renekton, actually, from the early game. But she is just like, nope, I'm going to go that Sheen, and now is the time maybe I'm going to start outscaling the Renekton. So don't be surprised if you see her E on him, looking for those Qs. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Alright, Renekton does hit level 6 a little bit early before the Camille, so the Camille won't go aggressive yet. And maybe the Renekton, what he needs to do is look for a roam. If he's not going to get the 1v1, maybe he needs to do something, or a teleport play. Something like that potentially is needed to get this Renekton snowball and get him going. Otherwise, I think he'll be in trouble. Like, I will say, in a complete all-in, if both of these champions right now had a duel to the death, maybe Renekton would win right now. And this is, well, actually, maybe not. Look at that damage that Camille just dealt. So that is obviously all of Camille's damage. Renekton potentially, you know, has to be careful. If he gets ulted, he can't get away. But yeah, with that Sheen proc with Camille's Q true damage, the second Q after you wait a few seconds, yeah, that's what Camille can do, and she's not even scaled yet, so yeah. Now again, good top laners, you will see this occasionally. They'll roam down for the Scuttle Crab. This is doing one of two things. One, it's allowing Renekton to sustain off his Vamp Scepter. Two, it's getting gold, actually three things. And you know, it's good to confirm the Scuttle Crab. We've said many times in the jungle at least, that is what you call a neutral objective. Both junglers could take that. It's not technically on either of their territory. So for a top laner to take it, it's fine because you're also denying the XP from the enemy jungler. So you can see Renekton is finally going all in. And we said, you know, his all in right now potentially does beat Camille's. But Camille just walks away. Doesn't die. That's Renekton's ultimate used and popped. Oh, Camille mistake potentially. She flashes away, first blood, and Renekton does get away. Yeah, big mistake by Camille. I don't know why she did that. He was still in his ultimate when she re-engaged. And that will be first blood for Renekton. He potentially could have stayed around. Yeah, he could have got that tower play, but I don't think he got it. Maybe obviously being a bit scared of, well, where's Lee Sin? I don't have vision of him right now, possibly. So he does just decide to go back and buy. And yeah, he is rushing the Blade of the Ruined King. So naturally, as we said earlier, Blade of the Ruined King, very strong item right now in the game. You know, there has been little, you know, mumblings of bruises in League of Legends for a long time. By the way, look, I just noticed. Anybody else see that? There was like a hole in the terrain that we could see down the map of League of Legends. There was mumblings, obviously, for ages of, oh, top laners are weak or bruisers are weak. That seems, at least for me, I don't know about you guys, let me know in the comments. I haven't heard people say that in a while because top lane bruisers have two of the most powerful items in the game right now, arguably three. So they have Blade of the Ruined King, they have Death's Dance, and arguably they've got Triforce, some of them. Like a Darius, well, you're not really buying Blade on Darius, but there are some champions. Hey, Camille could be one of them. Can buy Triforce, Blade of the Ruined King, and Death's Dance. Three of the strongest items in the game. You know, if you said, what are the top 10 strongest items in League of Legends currently? Yeah, those three are probably in the top 10. And those are three items that top laners predominantly use. So I don't think top laners are that weak anymore. And when I say that, the role in itself is not great for solo queue because it's so far out the way. You can have a great game as top lane and lose the game easily because you were just irrelevant. That happens quite often. And if you notice on my Smurf series, Iron to Master, I've kind of had a little bit of a break from top lane. On my main account, I've had a little bit of a break from top lane, is because genuinely I was getting frustrated of, oh, I'm having a great game on Shen, I lose the game because just top lane. That is the only problem. And, you know, I did make the argument several times that maybe there should be more objective focus on top. That, you know, when they said, oh, we're doing Rift Herald or we're kind of updating it, I was like, a better thing to do, imagine if you put Rift Herald here. Instead, you put a little pit here and you put Rift Herald at the edge of top lane. Suddenly, that increases top lane's activeness in the game. Because it's in top lane. It's not near top lane. You can't ignore top lane if you want that Rift Herald. That would make it a lot more relevant, I feel. Maybe they should look to do that. I don't know. Probably not, but it was an idea. Anyway, as you can see, the Renekton is currently still winning the trades. over the Camille, which is good. What the Camille, I think, is failing to do, and she was doing it earlier, but she was, you know, you could see the Camille was doing well in the early game by just Wing and using the Grasp the Undying prop. She's kind of stopped doing that because I guess the Renekton is just being a little bit more all-in. He's got his Cutlass, which obviously is a bit of a slow, so Renekton's now got that confidence level of, oh, I can slow you with Cutlass. That will give me that engaged required to kind of go for you. But there's first tower, which I was saying is not always the best thing for the Renekton. Obviously, gold-wise, he gets the most tower plates combined with the Rift from Kindred. So gold-wise, it's good value right now. But if this Camille just decides, I'm going to freeze this completely now, Renekton's going to get gold staffed. Anyway, she's going for a bit of an engage. Kindred in the area, Lee Sin in the area. There's a potential dive. Oh, lovely E by Renekton actually gets her out of tower range. Does get the kill. Unfortunately for the Kindred with the kick. Doesn't manage to get the ult off. And now a 1v1 between Lee Sin and Renekton. Will Renekton? He will go down Lee Sin with the double kill. And that was actually the first thing this Lee Sin has done all game. And also the first thing, yeah, that was actually the first thing both junglers did all game was that. That was 1-1 for Kindred and a 2-kill double kill without dying for Lee Sin. Damn, dude. Bot lane, how's this going? So it's a Syndra Bard versus a Senna Tam Kench, and they do end up killing the Tam Kench, which is a bit surprising. Again, mage lanes aren't really supposed to kill things in the early game, and I would still count where we are currently in the game as early game. Renekton does complete his Blade of the Ruined King, though, and then building his Kingle Gem, which I would imagine is for Black Cleaver. Again, good strong item is Black Cleaver. And, you know, people may say, oh, when do you buy Black Cleaver first, or when do you buy Blade of the Ruined King first? General rule of thumb, if you're in a very close kind of dueling matchup as Renekton, Blade of the Ruined King. So, like, for Camille, you're going to be actively fighting her, dueling her all the time. Blade of the Ruined King is going to do more for you. And also, the second kind of part to it, if you're against a tank or not. Camille is not a tank that's going to be rushing armor. So, Blade of the Ruined King, you don't, you know, Blade of the Ruined King do more damage because they're not buying armor. Black Cleaver is really good if you're against that thing that is going to buy a Sunfire first item that is just, you know, Sunfire, Ninja Tabby first items. Black Cleaver can obviously get you that armor pen. Get rid of the armor, which I think is, what is it, 40% armor? It's hard to remember exactly right now. But yeah, that's the general rule of thumb. If you're against somebody that's going to get armor, Black Cleaver first. If not, if you're against somebody that's going to go, you know, you're going to duel somebody, Blade of the Ruined King. So Renekton versus Malphite, Black Cleaver first item. Renekton versus Camille, Fiora, Darius potentially, Blade of the Ruined King. So, big fight potentially breaking out into the enemy jungle. Camille actually going for a roam, will catch out the Orianna nearly straight away. Orianna, though, does a bit of damage, nothing crazy. And red team do end up getting one pick. They kill the Tam Kench, so it's a 1-for-1 technically so far. Renekton looking just to split push, does have his teleport up if needed. And Dragon, I think, is up at the moment. I can't see because the ping's over the Dragon. I can't actually see the Dragon pit itself. And yeah, there it is. So Renekton is just going to apply pressure, try to, what is likely going to happen, force the Camille to come back, and then that opens up the Dragon for his team. If Camille obviously showed a Dragon, it means Renekton could have teleported there to go help. And if Camille wasn't that Dragon and also didn't come to the tier 2 top lane, well then suddenly Renekton's got a lot of pressure on that tier 2. But obviously what ended up to be true is Camille's forced to go back to the tier 2, which is what the Renekton I would imagine expected. Blue buff potential still here. Again, very good confidence level for this Renekton to do this. Obviously you see me do it occasionally. It is something you should do, by the way, even as a non-mana champion like Renekton. Stealing buffs is always good. Lee Sin does take it, but by the way, that is not bad. The reason why that isn't a terrible thing, meanwhile Lee Sin going aggressive, Lee Sin potentially on the back foot now, that isn't a bad thing. He does get it and does get the kill. Camille now in the area. Orianna going to save the Renekton. Renekton still looking to go crazy. Unfortunately, the Orianna ult misses. But, you know, that Lee Sin... Oh, Renekton going proper aggressive. I like it. Will get that kill too, and then he might rotate over to the Zoe. Nope, the Zoe goes down over to the right to the Orianna and Kindred. But it's not just about what you're gaining. You know, oh, blue buff on Renekton, that's not that crazy. No, it's also what you're denying. So yes, that Lee Sin got that blue, but it means that Zoe didn't get that blue. Meanwhile, double kill for bot lane. Renekton TP will get 1, will get 2. Double kill, good teleport play. That's what we like to see. Again, apologies for no teleport animation. Again, the replayers are bugged. But yeah, it's what you're denying. And obviously, also going for that blue, look what just happened. It gave Renekton, in essence, a quadra kill. because he killed the Lee Sin that obviously fought the Renekton after going for that blue steal. Then that also got Renekton the kill on Camille, and then also Renekton then was in the position to do the teleport and then got the bot lane. So in essence, that's why if you're ahead and you're playing an early game champion, and then like Renekton is, you have to make things happen. Forcing that blue buff steal, and then for Lee Sin to take it, forced that fight. Because he's trying to force situations, because right now is Renekton's strength. Early game. If you let this game go 30, 40 minutes, a Renekton legit will do sod all to a Camille. When a Camille, I'd say, gets 3 items, and if Renekton's got 3 items, it's over for a Renekton in a pure 1v1. And yeah, sure, maybe a Renekton could get on a Senna and kill her, but generally with how top lane is, a lot of top laners, the higher rating you go, are in side lane split pushing. And eventually Renekton will like how the champions scale and how they are designed. He will just not beat a Camille. Even if, by the way, those two champions just stand still and hit each other, the Camille will eventually win. You know, that's kind of how the best way to explain it. Right now, the Renekton, and you can see the damage, he has to push his advantage right now, and that's why he is so aggressive. He is behind the enemy's tier 2. Because he knows he has to be. One shot the Zoe. I'd say bad positioning by the Zoe, being a bit disrespectful to the Renekton in what is, again, his power spike at the moment. He's got 2 completed items. He's got Bleed the Rune King and Black Cleaver. So he is a very strong Crocodile right now. So if this video, and we were trying to answer, is Renekton still worth playing? Yes. If you're playing like this Renekton. And you know, as you said, this is a top 10-ish challenger player. We actually can have a little bit of research, because why not? Team Fight King is this guy's name. Let's have a little look at his stats, and I can kind of tell you guys. Camille going aggressive. Renekton still got ultimate. Is more than one person and does get killed by the center with the Camille on the tower. So, bit of overstay, bit of cockiness from him. I'm guessing they had vision because they obviously got him when he was in his thingy. Tahm getting caught again, though, and he will go down. So, this guy, this Renekton, let's update his profile. Potentially might be some type of Smurf in Challenger, by the way. So, he's currently at 1,345 LP. Big Orianna comes through. Kindred with a flank does get the kill. And also a Zoe on the back foot in mid lane 2. 2 levels down, actually, the Zoe over to the Orianna. And Kindred will get that kill on the Lee Sin 2 after he even flashes. But yeah, he's on 1,345. He's got around 400 games played, just over 400 games played on this account, with a 58% win rate. To have a 58% win rate, maintaining that win rate in Challenger, and he's rank 9 currently, is quite impressive. So, yeah. And then as for his champions, because, you know, this is looking to be a Smurf, Renekton is his most played champion, and he only has 28 games of Renekton played, with a 57% win rate. Aatrox is a second, with 22 games, 64% win rate. Volibear third, 67% win rate. Sion, 20 games, 60% win rate. Then Jace, 18 games, 72% win rate. So what I like to see here as well, I like these type of profiles. This is clearly a top lane expert, right? Again, don't know if it's a pro. You guys can tell me. I don't really keep up with this. You know, sometimes I'm on op.gg. If it was a pro, sometimes it would have on their profile, oh, this is such and such pro. It doesn't have that on this profile. So this is clearly a guy who, pro or not, is very good at top lane. And what I'd like to see, personally, as everyone knows, I'm the type of player that likes to see big champion pools and not really one-tricking whatever. And, you know, one-tricks have their place. They're very good at their one thing. This guy's just a top lane guy, right? He plays everything top lane. He just changes with the meta. He's played Shen, Camille, and all that. I like that. That has my respect completely. Like, yeah, you play one role. Okay, fair enough. Not everyone has to play a lot of roles. But within his role, he is playing everything. He's diverse. I like that quite a bit. Anyway, the red team do go together, catch the enemy team off guard, and they will open up the base, get the inhibitor, and then Renekton continuing the push. Zoe goes down out of position, and Renekton looking to crack open the base in top lane. A little bit caught, has to be careful here, does go for that turn, flashes on the Senna, nearly gets the one shot, Syndra gets the kill. Renekton on the back foot now. Bard has his portal. Lee Sin's going to follow the Bard through the whole way. Now find his way to the Kindred. Will go down to the Renekton in the end. Double kill for the Syndra near the base. And that will, in essence, be a near ace. Tahm survives just. And that will likely be a second inhibitor. Maybe even moving on to the Nexus Towers. so far. So again, I don't remember when this game ends. It might be now, it might be soon. But again, this was to show you guys, how do you make Renekton work? You know, is he worth playing? Yeah, he is, but you have to get ahead in the early game. That, you know, by the way, he's going Death's Dance next item. You know, we said earlier, it's just a crazy broken item. But he has to get ahead. He's not, you know, what you have to think, when you're playing an early game champion, it's a race against time. That you have to get ahead early. And you know the runners behind you, like you're sprinting at the beginning, you're ahead of the other runners in the race, but you know eventually they're going to catch up. It's can you get to the finish line of ending the game before they can actually catch up? That is what playing an early game champion is. And you know, this game is a good example of it because he's clearly making it work. And you know, his team's doing well, Kindred's done well, and Orianna is doing well, and Syndra's not doing bad, etc. But specifically top lane, you saw how much pressure the Renekton had, constantly pushing the tier 2, forcing that blue buff steal, and then that eventually opened up the fight, and then going for that teleport on bot lane after his bot lane died, and cleaning it up and getting a double kill. It's constantly trying to do stuff. It's not being complacent, it's not waiting. You can wait on something like Karthus if you want to and just scale because you're Karthus. You can't do that on Renekton. You can't do that on Pantheon and, you know, champions like that. So, a lot of people bot lane. Releasing now, Renekton in a 3v1 gets Camille ulted, actually put into the tower. But Tahm Kench, well, okay, they get the Renekton, but Renekton delayed them enough for all three of them to die. So that is as a Renekton where you would say worth. That also gives him enough for his Death's Dance, and that will also increase the pressure on the bot lane, which is where they're looking to push in for the final inhibitor. But some people like the Kindred and Bard might be just ignoring it because, hey, their supers going into the base, their Nexus tower is vulnerable. Guys, we don't need this. Let's just look to end the game. There's a dead Senna. And there you go. So that is the game, a 22-minute win. And yeah, 3 items for Renekton, Bork, Black Cleaver, and Death's Dance. I'm going to pause it right now, by the way. If I can. Actually, okay, the game is over, but what I want to just 100% confirm before Renekton dies, because it's a bit annoying I can't do it when he's not alive. Have to go a bit more. Alright, Renekton's alive. I was just going to say, his runes for this game are Press the Attack, Triumph, Alacrity, which is the attack speed, and Last Stand, because he knows he's going to be actively fighting at low health. Then, he's running Second Wind. He's then running Revitalize, because obviously he's all about healing and stuff. And, you know, heals and shields you cast receive 5% stronger and increase by 10% on targets below 40%. He knows he's going to be low health, and he's going to be fighting Camille at low health. And then also he's running attack speed, attack damage, adaptive damage, and armor. So that's his runes. But that is the game, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed. That was Renekton, and that is the lesson of early game champions in League of Legends on modern day. You can play them, you just have to get ahead in the early game. So if you guys enjoyed, throw a like on it, throw a subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time.